What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Hope everybody's having a great day or night whenever you're watching this. I can't believe I'm doing this video, but I really want to give a lot of credit to Baker Mayfield and give him a big shout because I feel like this dude has really come from the depths of being like on his way out of the NFL to being a really good starter this year. And in my opinion, I think he's been a top 12 QB for the full length of this season. I think he's been really good. I want to break down why I think that and who I would have ahead of him. But nonetheless, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you enjoy this kind of content, please like the video, but let's give Baker some love. So how do we get here to him being a top 12 QB this season overall, right? Flames out with the Browns, a lot of injuries, things like that, didn't play well with the injuries. Goes to the Panthers, and the Panthers are probably the biggest dumpster fire in the NFL right now. No one's saving that, not one player. Baker doesn't look good with them, just like everybody else doesn't look good with them right now. So then he goes to the Rams, makes a little bit of a savior on his career, in my opinion. That game against the Raiders, I think it bought him another opportunity. Goes to the Buccaneers, right? He's in the preseason competing with Kyle Trask for the job. He wins the job, which looks like the right decision from Todd Bowles and company. Becomes a captain on the team, shows how much his teammates are kind of gravitating towards him and believe in him, which is a big deal in the NFL. And then leads them to right now they're 7-7, and he's been really good this year. Like, he's been a positive for them. And he went from a quarterback that looked like he was on his way out of the league to now he's looking at a nice payday in the offseason. So I think that all deserves some shine. But how do we get to that point? Like, what has he done this year that makes him top 12? Let's break it down. To this point in the season, we're 14 games in for him, 24 TDs, 8 interceptions, 3-to-1 TD to INT ratio. That's always good whenever you have a lot more TDs than turnovers. He's been really good in that category. His QBR is a 54.9, which is his best in like 3 or 4 years. So he's like returned to being a quality quarterback again. Passer rating is fire. His highest passer rating in like 4 or 5 years at 94.7. That's pretty dope. I think he's is a top 7 in passer rating for all QBs in the NFL that have played, more than like 10 games. Because if you only played like 2-3 games, I'm not giving you, like, you're not in those stack. You're not in that situation. You haven't earned that. Baker has earned that. So he's been top 7 in passer rating, top 10 in yards per game, which, if you're going to be a good quarterback, you got to sling that thing around. I think his relationship with Godwin has improved as the season has gone on. They're starting to factor him more into the game plan. It was great from the jump with Mike Evans. And then Rachaad White has benefited from Baker. I think they benefit from each other. Top 9 in passing touchdowns. The name of the game is to throw for a lot of yards and score a lot of points. He's done that at a top, 10, 7, level in the league this year. And those stats alone will say, like, okay, so he's been productive when he's on the field. But let's use context, because stats, yeah, that's important. But like, what's the situation? This is why I think it's more important, right? He went from being not even thought of as a starter before the season to now he's starting, has really done good. The team was not expected to be in the playoff hunt. You lose Tom Brady, you expect a big drop-off. Look at the Patriots of years past and look at him now, right? So you expect a big drop-off, and then you're bringing in Baker, who has a lot to prove, and he really has proved himself, in my opinion. Team didn't have really high hopes, and now you're fighting for a playoff spot. Your team's 7-7. You're tied with the Saints for the division lead, and you've played overall, in my opinion, better football than the Saints have this year, and I think you've gotten better quarterback play, which has elevated the team. So when you look at the context of the situation, when they weren't expected to be much, he wasn't expected to be much. He wasn't even the guy immediately. He had to work his way into that, and now he's slinging the rock everywhere, and they're winning games. Has 4 touchdowns in the last game against the Packers. That's top 12, in my opinion. So when you say top 12, now you got to say who's the 11 ahead of him. That's only right. So let's break it down, and in the comments, let me know where you have him amongst all NFL QBs that have started most of the season, 10-plus games, in my opinion. And let me know where he ranks for you. So I'm going to break down, and this is in no particular order of who I have ahead of him. So if I say somebody ahead of somebody else, that's not in order. These are just the guys that I think have had better or arguably better seasons than Baker. So let's just get into that. And I have this list written down right now. So you have one guy, Brock Purdy, another guy, Patrick Mahomes, another guy, Dak Prescott. That's 3 of them. Tua's 4. Josh Allen's 5. Lamar Jackson is 6. CJ Stroud is 7. Justin Herbert's 8. Matthew Stafford's 9. Jared Goff's 10. And I would say arguably Jalen Hurts 11. So you have those 11 guys. I think he's been better than Trevor Lawrence. I think he's been better than every QB in his division. I think he's been better than Geno, especially when you give in the context of who they're throwing to and all that good stuff. I'm probably forgetting a couple of names here, but ultimately, Purdy, Mahomes, Dak, Tua, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, C.J. Stroud, Justin Herbert, Matt Stafford, Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts. He's in those conversations with those guys. I think he's earned to be in that top 12 category. If I miss somebody and you have somebody else that you think has been better than him, let me know in the comments. This is all up for open debate. I really just wanted to give Baker a lot of credit for overcoming everything he's overcome, all the injuries and all the turmoil in Cleveland and going to a terrible situation in Carolina to now he's like just being a rock star in Tampa. That's so dope. So dope. And I've been one of those guys where at one point I was a Baker hater. I will tell you that. I thought, man, this dude is trash. And I'm so glad to be proven wrong, as I always am. It's cool. I want to see these guys succeed. I can be critical, but Baker has really impressed me this season when you take everything into account. Ultimately, these next two games are probably going to decide the Buccaneers' fate this season. They're going to play the Jags next, and then they're going to play the Saints. So that Saints game is probably going to be for the division. And then they get the Panthers after that, which they should roll through them. But those next two games against the Jags and the Saints will, in my opinion, probably decide their season. But yeah, what do you think of Baker Mayfield this season? Do you agree with me that he's been top 12? Do you disagree? Have you been impressed? Have you been kind of meh, or have you not really paid attention to him? Whatever it may be, let me know in the comments. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you enjoy this kind of content, please like the video. But shout out Baker. You went from almost being cut out of the NFL to looking at a nice payday in the offseason. So kudos to him. But thanks for watching. I'm done. Peace.